All right. Well, prepare yourself, guys. This is Chris with Talking Through the Movies. I'm hoping that I'm streaming live. I'm hoping that you guys can hear me. And let's mute. Let's see. I don't know. I'm trying to get everything under control. We'll figure it out. But if we are today, I'm about to do a pickup show. We're going to be talking about Sydney Sweeney being fired from The Devil Wears Prada. We're going to talk about the upcoming Michael movie. I'm excited about that. And Billy, the lead singer from the Smashing Pumpkins. I'm a little upset with him because he talked real bad about my best friend, and I don't play that nonsense. But all that and more on this pickup episode of Talking Through the Movies. I think we got the sound working this time. Let me know if you guys can hear me, and let's get on with the new show. All right, let's get started, guys.
E3 Media.
All right, guys. As I said, my name is Chris, and yeah, welcome back to the all new, brand new, the return of talking through the movies here from the T3 Media Studios, your home for entertainment news and reviews by fans for fans. I'm your host, Chris Fagan, and yeah, this is a pickup episode. I was thinking about doing this immediately after me and my wife live streamed on Thursday and not Thursday, Tuesday. I'm messed up here. Today is Thursday. We did a show on Tuesday. Look, I said that when the show comes back regularly, I was going to start doing shows on Monday. Then Monday came and went, and I couldn't do it. So I said, you know what? I'll do the talking to the movies on Monday, and I will do the news show. Here's the thing. I'll do that on Tuesdays. Monday came. I wasn't able to do it. So I said, you know what? I'll push Here's the Thing, the premiere of Here's the Thing for next week, and I'll do Talking to the Movies on Tuesday instead. My wife, who is like totally overworked, she's so tired right now. God love her. I'm so blessed to have her as my partner in crime and in life, and my roommate. And I know she was tired, and I know she wasn't in the mood for a lot of things. And I said, "Hey, babe, I want to do an episode today." She's like, "Oh," she rolls her eyes. All right, fine, all right. I'm like, "Oh, don't be like that." She's like, "Yeah. Well, you know, you're not getting the other thing, right?" I'm like, "All right." No, our viewers, they're worth it. I can sacrifice a little bitty, a little quality time for some quality content. And then we do the whole episode. And I swear we checked the sound and we thought we heard ourselves talking. It turns out what we were hearing was just the feedback or whatever from the monitor speakers or the speakers that was nearest to us. And it just wasn't what it was supposed to be. So fine. I played it back like 3 or 4 times. And I'm like, yeah, it's not there. I checked the recording. It's because, okay, look, I ditched Streamlabs and I went back to OBS. Regular OBS was what I originally was using. Streamlabs was the new hotness that I was kind of drawn into. I'm not going to say suckered. I'm going to say drawn into because of all the bells and whistles. Turns out that all these years of paying all that money for all those benefits and features for Streamlabs, no matter how hard I tried, I would not. I would barely use 10% of everything Streamlabs offers, and a lot of what Streamlabs offers is amazing for the money. If you have if you need to use those features, it turns out I don't, or maybe I do, but I won't. And I just realized I spent so much money on features I will never use. Let me go back to OBS. come back to OBS. It's like coming back to an ex after so many years, and they are totally different from what you remember. They have a whole bunch of new features, a bunch of new standards. You don't know where the buttons are. You got to work. I'm like, oh my god. So yeah, that was the debut. Came back to the ex, and she was like, yeah, figure it out. And but hopefully we'll get things back. So we're going to be back to multi-streaming on all of our socials. Again, we're going to be getting back into regularly podcasting. I have some new ideas for the pundits that we have on the podcast. Hopefully, I'll be bringing back some new faces. I said I was going to start a new channel. I did, but it was not a great launch. It turns out I probably need to get the equipment that I got to get my shit together. So let me just put it that way. So anyway, good morning. Welcome to Talking to the Movies. Sorry for that boring ass intro. I know you're not trying to hear me make up any excuses. I wish I had a clip of Samuel L. Jackson from Coming to America. Quit stalling. Right? Get to the damn show. So all right, here we go. Okay. So what's going on out there in Hollywood, guys? Let's talk about it. It's been an interesting little week. I pulled some topics out that I just want to talk about. I know we just had CinemaCon. It was I know everybody's already discussing that. Once again, I didn't cover it live. I missed it. Still trying to build the new studio. I am about 90% done. I'm pretty happy with it. I'll do a video, give a little intro to everything that I've done. But I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with what I did here. But I want to just talk about some few topics that just popped off this week and just get your thoughts on it. But before I do that, I want to introduce, we have a new segment called Plot Twist. Well, it's not really a segment. It's just going to end off all of our segments, right? You know how when you're reading the comment sections from I don't know, a funny video or something on TikTok, something on Instagram, something like that, right? And then you'll see that one comment where a guy goes, plot twist, and then it's like something sarcastic, something funny, stuff like that. That's what we're going to be doing. So for the topics that we're going to be talking about, Sydney Sweeney being fired, the upcoming Michael Jackson movie, the box office, and the last topic, the segue into another a movie masterclass topic that I'm going to discuss. I don't think I'll have time to do it here on the live stream. I'm going to have to pre-record that. I'm going to discuss movies that I really believe really benefited from the soundtrack. Not to say that these movies that are on this list, these movies would not have done great without that banging soundtrack, but that soundtrack, that one single. For example, Hero for the Spider-Man movie, the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire. I believe that movie's success was partial to do with the impact that the song Hero had. And I'm not saying that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man would not have been a hit otherwise, but it was something about that song, man. So I'm going to do a video about that, and I'm going to have to pre-record that. So what we do now for Talking to the Movies, we talk about like 2 or 3 topics off the top. If there's time, a few headlines and things like that. We get into our reviews of certain things that we've seen in the week. Do a little rundown of plot twists for the topic, put a little comedy behind it, right? Then there's going to be that's like segment 1 or part 1 of this act 1, I guess, of the live stream headlines. Then a couple major topics, and then the segue. There's going to be a segue topic. Segue topic will lead into the final topic, which will always be what I'm calling the movie masterclass. And if there's enough pre-production done beforehand, hopefully I can get this perfected, I will do the movie masterclass segment live. If not, I'll have to pre-record it and just end off with the segue. and give a little tease, right? Okay, so what am I talking about? All right, here we go. I'll try to get this done. I'm sorry. I'm working a full time job, trying to get this studio rebuilt and remodeled. Trying to force myself to get off my ass and do this damn stream. So let's that okay. Quit stalling. I know that's what you're saying. All right, let's get into it, guys. All right, topic number one. So it came across my feed, I guess, so we can say, right? The my IG feed, and it showed. What did it say? It said Sydney Sweeney cut from the sequel to Devil Was Prada, and I forgot. I don't know if I heard that she was in it. I forgot, or I just didn't care. But Sydney Sweeney, me and my wife talked about this, and I don't know. She had a very interesting 2025, right? With the whole, I don't know what to call it. Am I magazines? I don't know what the hell that was, and or was she set up for failure with that whole situation? People want now the thing now it's like it's a hit piece on people's careers if you are Megan. like dude, like I don't care what her political affiliations are, but I lean one way. Okay, so what? Okay, that's where I lean, right? So okay, I don't care if you lean the other way, but you know what? But with everything that's been going on, with the fact that even his main supporters are going, damn, I think I might have voted for the wrong person. Yeah. Now it's like, hey, look, you are guilty by association. Have I myself cut friends off for those political beliefs? You damn right, because I'm petty, but that's just me. But you know what? It's fine if I can still support an actor despite that. But when you make bonehead moves after bonehead moves, and then I'll have more respect for the people who stand on business. But the ones who go, will it hurt my career if I say I support that? Okay, maybe I don't. Then that fall to grace to the inevitable. I'm gonna triple dipple down on it because I ain't making no money. Like those, it's a weird moment in a person's career when they'll decide, because nobody's career gets hurt for some reason for ever saying I support the left, and no matter how popular or unpopular that the left is, it's kind of funny, right? And that should tell you something. No matter how unpopular the left is at the time. Unless there's a real major scandals going on, it's still not an unpopular thing to say I support the left, because usually 9 times out of 10 they're doing, or they're claiming to do something that's supposed to be good and beneficial to people, liberty, right? But on the other side, it's like, they may be popular at one moment, but then when their popularity dips, or when people wake up and they go, oh, okay, well, your whole platform is taking things away from people or hurting people. I'm like, or owning the whatever, it's like, what the hell? Anyway, so Sydney Sweeney, she, like I said, had an interesting 2025 with that whole political stuff. And reports confirmed that the other day that Sydney Sweeney's 3-minute cameo as herself in The Devil Was Prada was completely removed from the final cut of this sequel. Now, could it be due to her political beliefs? Possibly. I want to say it's more possible than not. What's likely the situation is, it was just cut for time. Most directors, and when they get into the editing process, will be like, yeah, I don't want to cut this scene, or they'll even cut a scene that they loved and it was so beloved, but if they have to cut it out, you gotta do what works best for the movie. So what was the situation? Could it be that it just didn't work for the movie overall? It felt too forced, or were they worried that her presence in the film would be a distraction or a hindrance? I don't know. I'm more likely to think that it was probably the hindrance thing, the distraction thing, because fashionably, I mean, as far as fashion, uh, she is sought after. She is like, ironically, just and I talked about this on Tuesday. I said just like how Zendaya is definitely eyed for her fashion sense. When she hits that red carpet, she always wows. This is a movie about fashion, but I think that jeans thing is what probably made the director go, yeah, I don't know. Maybe her line said something about jeans or something. They're like, I don't want to be accused of being anywhere attached to attaching my car to that train wreck, or supporting or not supporting, or this or that, on the left, on the right, all of that. No, I don't want to be. I don't want this scene to be misinterpreted and accused of making a political statement. Maybe that was the situation, and that's what I'm going to assume, only on the headline alone, right? But going through the bullet points here, it says that the writer, Aline Bross McKinney, if I'm saying that right, confirms the cut, stating the scene didn't work structurally for the opening sequence. And at face value, that's probably legit. The scene featured Emily Blunt's character, now at Dyer, dressing Sweeney, but test audience reportedly found it disrupted the flow. And the film is still set to come out this May, but they just had to cut that scene because, like I said, so when the test audience is saying, this is distracting, and based on, the question is, where did you test this scene? Where did you test the footage? If we're in California, and they're like, you know what, then because then you're getting, like, if you test it with me, maybe I would say, it's kind of distracting because, I can't disassociate right now. I can't disassociate her from what that train wreck of a year was, especially starting off with those jeans, right? And since it has to do with fashion, it's just too distracting to me. I don't know. Like I said, I don't care what her political affiliation is. It's just the way she went about it. That train wreck of a marketing of that double downing to an apology to I don't know what she was doing kind of a thing. And the fact that this is a movie about fashion probably was like that's all people would think about. Was that scene necessary? And that director was probably like, okay, I was really trying not to make this movie anywhere near about that. So if that's why people are taking it, you know what? Cut it. Let's cut it. I don't want people to even put me in a situation to even interpret that that's what we're saying here. So cut it. The film is still coming out in May 2026 this year. The release is featuring Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, and returning to save Runway magazine. I guess that's the plot. So I saw that There Was Prada, I think maybe once. I don't think I saw it in theaters. Maybe I saw it at home. I can't remember. Did I see it in theater? But I think people are sleeping on the impact that this movie is about to give, man. I think this movie is going to do well. And I don't think people are giving it the credit that it deserves. Did Sydney Sweeney get fired because of her political stance? I'm going to say yes and no. I'm going to say maybe it wasn't the studio that were like, let's cut. I don't want to be misinterpreted for standing with whatever crap that she was going through. But when they saw the test audience, they were like, okay, it is giving that problem, and no, cut it. Let's cut it. I don't want it. That's my thoughts on it. Let's share your thoughts on that. Let us know what you guys think. it's, I'm gonna say, let's start with first. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this joke kind of works. Uh, Plot twist: she's actually in every scene, just hidden in the background as a very trendy floor lamp. That wasn't good. Plot twist: they replaced her scenes with a 3 minute clip of a cat walking down the runway. What? Come on, that was you could do better than that. Plot twist: Sydney Sweeney was actually playing a ghost that only Emily Blunt could see, making it a horror movie. Okay. You know. Hold on. What's your plot twist on that? All right. Moving on to the next subject. Okay. So the the box office for Mario still shows Mario it was number one. Had a little bit of a dip. I don't know if this movie is going to hit 1 billion. I don't think it will. Maybe I think worldwide, I think it's somewhere around 600. I think it's at 300 now at domestically, so which means it's probably over three. I don't know. Let me look that up. Let me see. Box office for Mario Galaxy movie. Let's see what it says. Oh, 755 million globally as of April, making it the highest grossing film of the year. It has earned approximately 361 domestically. Okay. And 394. Okay. It's already knocking on the door of, will it hit another 200 million globally? Now, okay, so if the question is, could it make another 100 million domestically with this kind of momentum? I think the answer is I'm leaning towards yes. So domestically, if it can do it domestically, that means that sometimes I just double it. And then that means if it can hit 100 million domestically, then then it could probably hit 200 total globally. And you're only about what, 245 million away. So it's possibly. It might knock on the door at a high 900. But there's a chance. I think it's on a path. But it is on a $1 billion path. So we'll see. If Mario Galaxy can hit 1 billion after the first one hit 1 billion, that's good for the franchise. I don't think it has to make more than the first one because, honestly, in my opinion, it wasn't as good as the first one. But it was. If it's good enough to hit 1 billion, if the kids, beg the parents to come back and go see it over and over and over again, if it hits 1 billion, if Nintendo can say we hit $1 billion regularly, like that's 2 for 2. I mean, that's good. That's great. I think that would help. I guess the question is, would that help Zelda? I wonder what this means for Zelda. But the Super Mario Brothers movie continues to dominate, while early tracking for the Michael Jackson biopic suggests a massive 120 million opening. I've been seeing a lot of mixed reviews, though. There have been saying reviews coming out. What was it? The Rotten Tomato score for Michael was like in the 20s, and that was wild for me. Michael Jackson movie. Let's see. Let me see. Critic score. Michael Jackson film is a whitewash and ghoulish critics say. That's wild. What? Critics are panning the 2026 biopic Michael as a sanitized, whitewash, and boring film to avoid the singer's controversies. Um, from what I remember, they dove one of the final acts of the movie was supposed to end at one of his main controversies with one of the accusers. And when they realized that they didn't legally have the right to do so, they had to cut it, which could have been a financial disaster for the Jackson Foundation because if they would have released that film with that scene still in there, oh my goodness, they had a settlement clause saying if you ever make a Michael Jackson movie, you cannot talk about this one accuser at all. You can't even hint to. You can't even have a fictional character with a different name in the same scenario, kind of a thing. Because we know that's what you're talking about, and you're going to give us another $1 billion or whatever the settlement would be, right? They were going to lose, and they luckily caught that at the last minute. But other critics, like John Campea, for example, he perfectly coined it, and I agree with this. He says that no matter how you write the movie, if you only focus on the negative stuff in his past and the allegation stuff, that you'll piss off the fans of the music. Like, why can't you just focus on the music and this and that? And then if you only focus on the music and this and that and the other, which is probably what they did, that then you're gonna piss off the other people. Well, what about his his weird behaviors and all the things that he was accused of, and you're ignoring the victims and this and that. You would never. That was a story that is so hard to tell. You were never going to, but you were never going to please everybody. So I believe that they found, in my opinion, I think they might have found a good balance. And the rumor saying that this is a 2-part movie, that they're splitting it in two. It's funny. I haven't heard that since. The closer we got to this movie being released, I haven't heard anybody mention that. If that's still the case, and let me know in the comments. Do you know if is this still one of two? Are they releasing the second version, second half of this movie, next year or something? Because I heard another critic, Josh Jones, I believe it was, that how it ends abruptly, or was it Sean Chandler, who's like a kind of way it ends. He said that this is a movie that really focuses on the unstoppable force and the immovable object kind of thing. The father, Joe Jackson, being the immovable object, and Michael being the unstoppable force. As he struggles to, being the one with the most talent and break out from the family and to stand on his own. And if that's what this movie just focuses on, that's a hell of a story. So I'm wondering if these critics were like, I walked into that movie hoping that they would, trash him because I believe he did those things with those minors. And other people are like, I was walking in hoping that they only focused on his triumphs in the music business. Or another person would be like, I was hoping that they would talk about the beef between Michael and the studios and stuff like that. Or there's another person's like, I was hoping to see all of that for this to be a complete balanced movie. So it sounds like one of those four are going to be disappointed, or 3 out of the 4. They're going to be disappointed based on how this movie is. I haven't seen it yet. I'm probably going to book a ticket. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe, just depends. Well, my wife's she's still busy. I work a double. On Saturday. I don't think I know. You know what? I might not get to see this movie till Sunday. So hopefully I'll have a review for you by next week. But I might not get to see this movie until Sunday. So I don't know. I'll let you know what I think about it. But key takeaways. Jafar Jackson is frequently praised for his dancing and singing, with Variety describing the film as engaging, sanitized storytelling. Critics note that the film avoids accusations of the abuse. Hollow execution. IGN labeled it flat and paper thin, while others called it stilted waxwork. Elephant in the Room reviews for The Guardian and the Telegraph focuses on movies' refusal to tackle the darker aspects of Jackson's life. So I don't know. That's wild. So I guess the question is, what do you guys think? Do you think that if you've seen the movie, do you think that the movie was lackluster? Or do you think that they found a good balance? Do you think these critics? I'm curious what John. I think John just did his out of theater reaction, and I'm curious on what his initial thoughts were. According to the thumbnail, he seemed like he was excited. So we'll see. I'm gonna watch that after this. But we'll see. Another bullet point here that Lionsgate is reportedly bullish on MJ's biopic despite ongoing legal controversy surrounding the estate. Last point that was made, mid-April box office is up 14% compared to last year, largely due to events a cinema return, which is why I have a lot of shares in AMC right now. So I advise you to look into that. Let's see. Plot twist. The Michael Jackson biopic is actually a secret sequel to Moonwalker. My wife said she didn't see Moonwalker, so we're filing for a divorce. Plot twist. The MJ movie ends with him actually moonwalking onto the set of the next Avengers movie. God dang. Plot twist. Everything they're playing, Michael, is actually just playing Space Jam by mistake. Uh-oh. All right. Let's get to the segue real quick. Uh, so what did I said earlier that Billy Corgan, he just was interviewed recently, or maybe this was an old interview. I think this, and he talked about a song that he made back in 1997. I saw this on TikTok, and I guess I got a little beef with Billy Corgan, lead singer from the Smashing Pumpkins, because I don't like it when people talk about my friends, man. I don't know Billy, but the way he talked about my friend, it really pissed me off. I will tell my friends off all the time for even talking about my other friends, even when that friend is themselves. Now, of course, I'm joking. Of course, I don't really know Billy Corgan, but the friend that he was talking about was himself. And I don't play that, Billy. Because so Billy Corgan, let me get to the talking points. So Billy Corgan revealed that his 1997 song, The End is the Beginning is the End, was a disaster until Zack Snyder used it for the Watchmen trailer. Now, I I am 46 years old. I was born in 1980. My teens, when music was mostly influential to me, was in the 90s. My music of choice was not just rap, but it was Bone Thugs and Harmony. Bone Thugs and Harmony was the group that just captivated. They blew my freaking minds. And I didn't even like Tupac or Biggie until I found out they did a song with Bone. Right, that's how much I loved Bone Thugs and Harmony. Still love Bone Thugs and Harmony. Are you about to announce that Billy Corgan did a song with Bone Thugs and Harmony? I don't know. Maybe they did. I don't know. That would be kind of cool, but no. I got so involved with Bone Thugs and Harmony that I would even buy soundtracks if a single was made by Bone Thugs and Harmony. I did this for the movie The Show. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang. I did this for the Set It Off soundtrack. What was it? What was it? Dum 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 bum 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 bum. Wasteland Soul. The Days of Our Lives. These are the days of our lives. I come into my world and you can see that we are more than thugs. And I also did it again in 1997 for the Batman and Robin soundtrack. Now, in this interview, for some reason, I don't know if the TikToker who posted it or if it was the person who actually gave him the interview, but they said it in the interview. He was misremembering. He said, "I did a song for Batman Forever." I'm like, "No, you didn't. no, you didn't. Unless I'm remembering it wrong. Unless you did the song and it was on that Batman Forever soundtrack and then used again, because it wasn't, because Batman Forever didn't come out in 97. It was Batman and Robin. And I know I bought the Batman and Robin soundtrack because why? Because Look Into My Eyes, which was a single that was on The Art of War, was also first released for the Batman and Robin soundtrack, which is why I bought the soundtrack. And I love that song, but that wasn't the song that became my favorite song for that soundtrack. I didn't admit it then. You would never get me to admit it back in 1997, but it's been over 20, it's been almost 30 years. And I'm willing to admit it now. That was not the best song on that album, on that soundtrack. The End is the Beginning is the End was. And when I say I didn't appreciate the way Billy was talking about my friend, I was talking about the Smashing Pumpkins, the way, because I never bought a Smashing Pumpkins album, but their singles when they were released on MTV, they affected me. His band was part of the reason why I opened my mind to different genres, why I became a fan of groups like, at the time, No Doubt, Maroon 5, Fiona Apple, Korn. I I got to a point where I would, and I'm starting to tear up. I got to a point where when the Smashing Pumpkins videos would come out, I I would always stop and I would watch. Tonight, the song Tonight was one that really hit me emotionally. I think that song was up against the Bone Thugs and Harmony song. I think for like maybe Video of the Year or something like that. I think they won maybe. And it just all came back and it hit me when I watched that TikTok video. And he was going off on how we made a song and I guess he would meant like on the charts, like it didn't impact anybody. And I remember I was holding my phone in my hand and I was getting mad at Billy. I was like, because it was like, I felt like Billy of today was talking crap about, Billy of 1997. I'm like, what? Didn't do anything. Nobody cared. I cared. Send a Heartbeat to The Boy That Cries Through You. It was me. You were talking to me. Those lyrics impacted me. Before I even saw a video, I was more focused on the Bone Thugs and Harmony Look Into My Eyes video where they show clips. Once again, Busy wasn't in the video, damn it. But I also remember when that video came out for The End Is the Beginning Is the End. I remember I remember like it was yesterday. I haven't seen that video in years, but I remember it was a Batman mask. The camera zoomed into it. There was video playing in the eyes. And when you went into the mask, the Smashing Pumpkins were in there. First they were standing, and then eventually they were floating around, and the scenes were playing within the mask. Is it bright where you are? I'm just a Christian. Does it make you happy? Like you're so strange, or you're so vain, or something like that. And the lyrics spoke to me, and it was, I don't know, it impacted me in so many ways, and I took it personally. I know what he's talking about. I get it. But I'm like, but I feel like I'll fight my friends for talking bad about my friends. And when I say that, I'm joking, because what I really mean is, even if you're talking about yourself, I will fight you. And I'll tell you, like if you're a friend of mine, and you start putting yourself down, and you being extra negative and being extra hard on yourself, and you being a little too much. And especially if I totally disagree, I'm like, you want me to fight? You want to fight right now? Don't be talking about my friend like that. You're like, what? I'm just talking about myself. Like, yeah, exactly. Like I said, don't talk about my friend like that. That's what I mean. And I got mad. I was like, what? I mean, he didn't do anything but I get it. I mean, I wasn't following the Smashing Pumpkins. I wasn't following the numbers, but I knew what that song meant to me. And I knew how I felt when I listened to that song. I also remember, if I'm remembering correctly, they even had 2 versions of that song on the same soundtrack, which is why it stood out so much. And correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Guys, Google it, because I'm not going to look it up right now, but I'll look it up after the fact. But I think I'm right about this. Yeah, at the beginning is the end is the beginning, or something like that. That was the version I think that we got on that first video. And then at the very end of the soundtrack, that song came back again. The end is the beginning is the end. It was the same song. It was a remix. And maybe the lyrics were different, or maybe he just sung it differently. I think it was different lyrics. And that was the version that they used for The Watchmen. So when The Watchmen trailer came out and I heard that, I instantly knew what I was listening to. And I'm not surprised that the song had more of a connection based on those visuals. It was interesting that Warner Brothers was like, it must have been a guy who felt just like me about that song. It was like, this was the right song. Maybe it was for the wrong film. I mean, even Look Into My Eyes didn't even make sense to that movie. But if you put Look Into My Eyes on another movie nowadays, hell, maybe Look Into My Eyes would have been better on the Sinner soundtrack. Who knows, right? I mean, who knows? A slower, different version of Look Into My Eyes on another movie, on another Zack Snyder movie, right? That, and you play it in that dramatic way. Maybe it would have the same. Hell, maybe Look Into My Eyes on the Watchmen trailer would have worked as well too, right? But I feel like there was probably some executive that was out there, some young guy, and was like, damn it, I remember this song and I loved it, and I feel like it was just the right song for the wrong film or something like that, or maybe we could do it better for a trailer. We're not gonna make another video, but maybe we can do something with the trailer. And I feel like there was a guy, maybe we're the same age, and maybe he and luckily he was an interning or something like that. I'm just writing the story myself in my imagination, and maybe he was thinking the same thing I was thinking. This song deserves more, because this song is a good song. I listened to that song so much. I'm talking before the video came out. Back then, it was all about the video. This was before YouTube and all that. So when the video would come out on MTV, that was sometimes the announcement of the release of that single. You didn't know that they were planning on what single an album was going to release until the video. Oh, well, God, they're going to make a video on that song. Okay, that's the second single. That's the third single. Okay, cool, go ahead. I was listening to it. I got the album. I'm listening to it, and I might have listened to that song just as much, if not more, than who was at the time and still to this day my favorite music group of all time. The end is the beginning is the end, and the beginning is the end is the beginning. I might have listened to more from that on that soundtrack, but it's not fair because I also had the Art of War album, so of course I listened to Look Into My Eyes more. But I have to say, Look Into My Eyes impacted me only in the beginning because it was a Bone Thugs and Harmony song. The end is the beginning is the end. The beginning is the end is the beginning. Those songs, to me, saved that soundtrack. Those were the songs. And I was just nostalgic, and I was happy that they used it again for The Watchmen. But everything that you said in that interview, Billy, you might be technically right, but it did not. That was not my experience. So don't talk shit about my friends again, man. With everything that you said about that song, no, hell no, because I am that boy in that song in my head. I am that boy that you sent that heartbeat to, and that meant so much to me. So I don't know why I got emotional. I saved the video. I think I even commented. I was mad. I was like, what the hell did you just say? I was like, boy, who the hell are you talking to? Billy, a grown ass man. I think he's older than me. He was a grown ass man. He's like, yeah, that's his song. I'm like, I've never bought it. Like I said, I've never bought a Smashing Pumpkins anything. Maybe looking back into it, maybe I will. They could take another look at My Chemical Romance too, right? And My Chemical Romance, Smashing Pumpkins, and Green Day. I think those are the three bands that I gravitated to a lot. And Korn for a little while, but that was because of my Todd McFarlane. But yeah, I got pissed. I was like, what? had to like and save that video. I'm like, what the hell? Talking about my friend like that. Boy, he said that the song originally won a Grammy for Batman and Robin. See, right here, I knew I was right about that. It was Batman and Robin. I knew I wasn't remembering wrong. So like he must have been so damn mad that he didn't do enough. But he forgot the movie that he did it for. I think it was Batman Forever. No, that was Seal, Kiss from a Rose, which I also found out. Plot twist. Here we go. Kiss from a Rose was about snorting some nose candy. And I was like, what? I was today years old when I found that out. Kiss from a Rose, the song that everybody used to play at their weddings, walk down the aisle to, father-daughter dance at the weddings and all that stuff. That's the song that he proposed to me to and all that. The most romantic song in the world was about him being high as a kite on the nose candy, man, on the on the devil's baby powder. That's what I'm gonna call it. It was on the devil's baby powder. That was the song that made Batman Forever. Your song was on Batman and Robin, Billy. And you said you won a Grammy for that song, but was largely hated by fans of the band at the time. Okay, there we go. That's why, I guess. I guess it didn't meet the caliber of a Smashing Pumpkins song, I guess. I don't know why. But again, I wasn't a hardcore. I wasn't into Smashing Pumpkins the way I was into Bone Thugs and Harmony. Because I could listen to a Bone Thugs and Harmony song back then and be like, this doesn't work. This song isn't at your So as for those fans, okay, that I'll give you a pass on. I understand. I get what you're saying, Billy, but it was a song that reached a person who was nowhere even near that genre. It reached out to me, who was deep in this other genre. I grew up listening to like adult contemporary because you listen to whatever your parents were listening to and stuff like that. But rap was my genre of choice, R&B and rap. That song, it got me. So it might not have been what your core fans wanted, and I get it. You love your, but it made another fan. I'll just put it like that. Corden credits the visual pairing of the Watchmen trailer to turning the track into an instant classic, which I do agree with that. But I thought the Batman and Robin video was good as well. The visuals being inside the mask, the way they did that, I felt like it was just, I guess at the time the fans, the core fans were just like, this ain't it. Probably because the movie sucked. Let's be honest. Let's just be honest. That's probably what really happened. The movie sucked, and everybody was like, anything associated with this. What's my favorite scene from Ghostbusters 2? Everything that you are doing is bad. I want you to know this. And I think that's what it was. You were guilty by association. And then somebody was like, no, there's potential here. There's a reason why they didn't pick Look Into My Eyes. They picked your song, and they picked it for The Watchmen. All right. And it came back from the ashes just like Maul. Right. This has sparked a new trend in 2026 of studios digging up failed 90s tracks to pair with modern trailers for a vibe reset. Hey, cool. 30 years later, right? But yeah, man, but it pissed me off. I'm like, dude, why are you talking crap about my friend like that, man? That song had a deeper impact on me than it did to the average Smashing Pumpkins fan, right? But hey. But I'm a firm believer in the saying, everything in the world that's meant to happen eventually does. And I knew back in 1997 that song was meant for greatness. 29, it took a couple of years later, and then it began, and now it took some years, it took a few years, a couple of years. Yeah, it finally happened. But nah, Billy, Nope. Don't you do it. Don't you talk about that song. The end is the beginning is the end, and the beginning is the end is the beginning. Those songs helped me through some tough times, and I thank you for making it. I'm sorry that it didn't go out. I'm sorry that it didn't work out with guess between you and maybe in the studio, or it wasn't as it didn't connect with your core fans. And I'm glad that a marketing team had the testicular fortitude to know that that song deserved better. And thanks to Zack Snyder for The Watchmen, you got it. So for that, outstanding. And that segue, there you go. That will lead me into a bigger discussion that I'm gonna have to have a little bit later. Talking through the movies is it's meant to be a 30-minute show. This time I went a little longer because, like I said, this is a pickup episode that was based on just the fact that I messed up the audio from the live stream, and you just do not know how pissed off I get whenever stuff like that happens, man. I get into a very dark place. I think that song was playing in my head at the end of the beginning is the end, and the way that music hits. I'm gonna have to listen to it on the way to work tonight. Can't wait. I get into a dark place, but then I guess let's get into some we got your mail. Then I got this message. I woke up this morning to to relieve myself. I woke up way before the sun rose, as an old man like me will do. I didn't want to pee in the bed, and because I got a weak constitution, as a friend of mine likes to say. I told him that he gets a kick out of that saying. We cracked up laughing when I told him that. He's like, you never heard that expression before? He's like, no. He said, I ain't never heard that. I said, that boy has a weak constitution. And then I woke up, and then I see this message. It was on my Superman official trailer. And if I remember correctly, you also commented on the live stream that didn't work out. But the young man's name, his handle is Steve Karis. This was last night. He goes, "Hey folks, what happened to the sound on the Sweeney versus Devils Wears Prada video? Ironic, as I posted for a series with talking in the title, and there's no sound, miming through the movies, right? Care to explain?" I'm like, for one, I don't explain myself to anybody, right? Otherwise, I enjoy subscribing. And when I read that, it got me. I was like, you know what? I was dwelling in my self-hatred, and I was like, man, I can't believe I did all that setup. I've been struggling to get the new studio up, and I messed up on the sound. And I get so mad. I just dwell in my little dark space, right? But that comment this morning, it got me. I was like, all right. Okay. All right. I'm back. I'll be there. So I responded back to him and said, we heard ourselves. That's how I explained earlier on this stream. I said, we heard ourselves. And it turned out that was just a little feedback from the wrong speaker. We could hear ourselves, but you couldn't. And that's what caused the confusion from the live feed. Upon the playback, it wasn't any sound, and none of it was on the recorded version either. I found the fix for the issue, but I have to scrap the live stream and will try to stream a redo this morning. And here we are. I appreciate the support. I didn't know if a redo was necessary, but this message helped me make the decision. So thank you, Steve Cars, for getting me to get off my ass. And I hope you subscribe. I hope you like, and I hope this pickup episode was worth the wait. And I will make sure to do better. Now that the sound issues seemingly have been dealt with. The other thing I guess that I have to figure out is the multi-stream conundrum. I will figure out how to get that up and going again, and hopefully by Monday when we stream again, I'll be ready. So till then, guys, I appreciate anybody who may have had the time to click on and see me on a 11 o'clock on a Thursday. What? I used to stream Thursday evenings regularly, but now I have to work. But yeah, good morning and good afternoon out there, guys. Yeah, I'm here, and I will be back on Monday. I don't want to say a set time because I never know how I feel, but hopefully I'll get on a schedule again and I'll be able to commit to a set time. So just let me know what you guys think. Is the plot twist even necessary? Like plot twists, nobody likes plot twists. Like share yours. I'm hoping to make that one into. I think it's funny. Let me know what you guys think, and stay tuned for an upcoming video for soundtracks that help boost and elevate certain movies, like the Watchmen. I'm gonna say Watchmen. I'm not gonna say Batman and Robin. Yeah. Oh my God, that movie was bad. But we're gonna talk about that, and I hope you guys check it out. Hit the like button, subscribe, follow us at T3 Media Studios on all the socials. Don't forget to comment, just like my friend Steve did, and let me know your thoughts and the things that you want us to talk about. I appreciate you guys as always. And just, yeah, hit me up. Yeah, you can always follow me I'll respond faster at T3 Medias before I respond to my personals. But if you want to go to my personals, it's at Chris Fagan or at Chris W Fagan or something like that. You'll find me. You'll see my head out there. I guess I will see you guys next week. And if you're watching on or listening to us on your podcast of choice, like Spotify, don't forget. I also the same thing. Comment, hit that follow button, stars, all that stuff. I need to start a Kickstarter, man, because I'm trying to get funding where we're going. Oh, before I go, let me just talk about it. Hey, we are going to Comic Palooza. So we got the invite. Little issues we've been having for the past couple of times we've been out, but we're back on our stuff. They won't allow a major team. Can't bring our entourage anymore, but they invited me and Joy this time around, and like we're on a probation, right? Like y'all doing too much. So, but we're gonna come back. We're gonna cover the cosplay event at Comic Palooza, May 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, I believe is the dates. And we look forward to seeing you guys. If you're going to be in the Houston area, you want to go to Comic Palooza and check us out. We are going to be interviewing you cosplayers out there, especially for movie content. You know, Ruby Rod has to make his appearance known, and I can't wait to. This year, I did a show from Comic Palooza like 2 years ago. I didn't want to do it last year. I'm not going to do it again this year. Maybe next year. And after we get our ish together, and reset the palette, I want to make it a tradition, or maybe even give it an exhibit out there, a table, and make it more of a thing. Either it will be just T3 Media Studios, or maybe it'll be talking to the movies, or maybe it'll be the Here's the Thing podcast. Maybe that makes more sense. But I want to mix it up with you guys in your cosplay outfits. I want to talk with you guys. I love talking to cosplayers. I love cosplaying. I love the interaction with people with Ruby Rod. I'm going to make more of an effort to do more about The Fifth Element and show that movie some love, because just like that songs that impacted me, there were movies that did the same thing too. The Clerks, The Fifth Element, things like that. The movies that have changed my life. So these cosplay events have been a good outlet, and I cannot wait to go, man. Last year we had a blast. This year it's going to be awesome. What was it? Nah, not just Star Wars. It's guess like the cast of Daredevil Born Again. Oh, I cannot wait because uh I've never done one of those group picture things, but it's too expensive. I don't know. Maybe I think it maybe might have to try. I got all I get I get autographed pictures every now and then. I just got Sam Whitworth from another event that we just recently went to, and so I want to get a lot of Star Wars autographs. So um, I'm definitely looking forward to meeting the cast of Daredevil. Because I feel like it's ironic that the man who is currently the Kingpin started his career as Thor. And if you know what I'm talking about, comment and just shout out to the original Thor. Show love to the original Thor, and tell me what movie it came from. That was also a movie that impacted my life. Oh, guys, let me know what you guys think. See you guys at Comic Palooza. Me and my wife, as you know, as your favorite cosplay, Ruby Rod. Hopefully, we'll be making another appearance. Yes, yes, thank you. So I will be meeting with all of you follies and lollies and lickum lollies out there, and I can't wait. May 22nd, 23rd, 24th. See you there. Until next time, guys.